Hello, everyone. Welcome back to VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers, joined with my trusty sidekick and producer extraordinaire, Stephen Coghill. Today,
Hello.
I know I say it all the time, but I've got a really special guest and in my own backyard, so I'm really excited. So help me welcome on-air voice talent and co-owner of Atlanta Voiceover Studio, always better than before, Heidi Rue.
Thank you so much, Jared. Wow, what an introduction. Oh, man.
Welcome.
You're very welcome. You're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
thanks for being on. We really appreciate
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys for asking me. I really appreciate it.
it. Yeah, considering you haven't seen one episode, that's good because you just never know what might happen.
I know.
She's like, I have
This
no
could
idea what to
be
expect.
Very exciting.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And here we go.
Here we
Thank you
go.
again for being here. Stephen, I'm going to kick it off to you as always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Heidi, my first question is where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Georgia and well, right outside of Atlanta. And Jared, I don't know if you get this a lot, but, and I don't know if you were born here, but I know that so many people, when I tell them I'm from Georgia or Atlanta, they're like, what? That's crazy. Most people that they meet are from some other place. They didn't grow up here, but
Right.
I grew up just a little south of Atlanta in Jonesboro. Yes, you know
I
the
know that
place.
very well. Very, very well.
It was a great place to grow up. I will say there was a little issue after I left to college with the accreditation. They managed to lose their accreditation, the school system, which was awesome.
Oops.
But yeah, but thankfully I got out before that. And yeah, I grew up in Atlanta and then I went to college in Tennessee and then I ended up back in Atlanta. I never thought I would just come back here, but I realized, oh my gosh, this is a great city. Why am I thinking about another place? So
Every time I visit anywhere, I
yeah,
always, when I get back, I'm like,
I
I'm back in
know.
home. So I'd get that.
Yeah. It's great. You've got the city, you've got mountains, you can, go to the beach for just a few, I mean, just a few hours south of here, you can go to the beach and or I guess it's southeast or so. But there's so much diversity in the city and there's just so much to do. And and then you also have the great Southern manners that you get. Everyone's generally pretty nice here. So unless
Bless
you
your
get in
heart.
traffic. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no. 285 is like that scene from Mad Max Fury Road where there's some guy hanging off the front playing guitar. Flames are going everywhere. And you're like, I just want to get into the merch and the HOV.
Yes, so true, so true. Oh my gosh. I actually did I reported on traffic for a while in the radio here in Atlanta. And I remember when they first asked me to do traffic, I thought, are you kidding me, you guys? I've lived here in Atlanta for forever and I still don't get 285. Like it confuses me so bad. I'm like, are
You
you
want me
sure
to
you want
explain
me?
this to others? Are you out
Yeah,
of your mind?
exactly. Like you must be really desperate.
Legend says it's a circle that goes all the way around.
It's
You
true.
never
Yes.
get out.
I've gotten caught on it before, trust me. Yes.
Awful.
I love those roads that you get on and it's like they say, no exit for 5 miles. And you're like, I made the wrong turn now.
Oh,
What
I
have I
know.
done? You know.
Yep.
It's always when you got to pee, too. Sorry, but it's always when you got to pee.
So true. Or gas. I'm the worst at like going, I still got probably 30 miles. I should be okay, right?
Trying to
Yeah.
reason with your vehicle, I know.
hmm
Sometimes it doesn't work out.
That's why I married my husband actually, is because he always usually is on top of that and fills up my tank. And I'm like, dude, you're in.
He
Like,
takes care of you.
yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? I don't care what else you got going on.
Right? That's all.
My
That's
tank
all
is
that matters.
full, and that's all I care about.
That and updating my technology. He is like on top of that. So couldn't ask for more.
You need somebody like that in your life for sure.
Yeah, I know.
So you
I
grew up
have
in
high
so you grew up in
expectations.
Atlanta, or Georgia, I should say.
Mhm.
And do you have siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of four. And my youngest brother has special needs. Clayton is his name, and it's just awesome. It's a great part of our family. Um, he was born with something called Apert syndrome, which is very, very rare disease. And he had, like, gosh, I think 9 major surgeries by the time he was 9 years old. He was in and out of the hospital. But he's awesome, and he works at the airport. So if you're ever in like the Delta Sky Club, I think it's in Concourse D, then he'll be there and help you and serve you. And he's just a great guy. And yeah. And then I have a sister and another brother. So
And are those your siblings? Are they creative like you are?
no, and I think it's because
Why are
of
you
me.
laughing?
I think it's because of me that they are not creative, because I think that because
You're
growing
like,
up,
I don't want to do what she's doing.
yeah, because we would, of course, what all kids do is put on performances for the grandparents and stuff. And but I didn't just want to put on a performance. I want to do it really well. So like, I was like, you guys, we have to rehearse it. Meg, you're not in your place at the right time. Come on, we got to get
Hit
this
your
right.
marks. Hit your
One and
marks.
2 and 3 and
Yes,
1 and 2 and 3 and what is wrong with you?
I know.
How
I'm
are we
like,
not
fine.
connecting?
We got to wake up at 5 tomorrow morning to get this in, guys. This
Yeah.
is
This
ridiculous.
is it. With set building and all that. Yeah,
So,
I got
yeah,
gotta happen.
you get it, Stephen. Yes.
I do.
So,
Well, I was very serious as a child actor. Putting on performances for the family. We got to have music. We got to have the right things.
oh
So were you
man.
like, as an older sister, were you like a bossy meat creature? Were you like telling
Oh,
everybody what to do, or yeah?
yeah. Oh, for sure.
I could
And
see that. I could see that.
uh, and part of it was I was kind of forced into it because my brother Clayton is 9 years younger than me. So when he was born and they were in the hospital a lot, I was the one that then was left in charge. Even at 9 years old, I was, there babysitting us all and taking care of meals and all kinds of stuff. And so mom and dad said, hey, you're in charge. And so I had to almost be bossy a little bit. But I've also, just so you guys know, I've also offered to pay for therapy for my brother Ned, especially. He got the brunt of it. So um, I have tried to make amends for any bossiness
Aw,
that he
super sweet.
experienced. So far, he hasn't taken me up on it. So
My father, he keeps offering me another punch in the shoulder. I'm like, no, I'm good.
I'm good.
right,
I'm good.
right.
I'm fine.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to cut back. So what made you a creative child? Like, were you a creative kid growing up, or did that come later, or how did that happen to you?
No, I think I always have been. My mom is really creative, and as well as my grandmother. So I think that, and my dad wishes that he was creative, and he would say that. I'm not saying anything that he wouldn't say. Um, he grew
Really?
up in sports. He was very good at wrestling. He's a PE teacher, so he kind of had that aspect down. And I think he always wanted to be more creative and more into music and all kinds of stuff. And my mom was very, very creative. So was my grandmother. Um, and another thing that my mom, I think she just helped to spur on our creativity. And I don't know how it was when you guys were growing up, but anytime that we would come to mom and say, we're bored, mom, she would say, oh, well, you know what? Here's some ideas. Why don't you go create this? Or why don't you go play this? Or she kind of would give us those like jumping off points. And we also didn't have much money. My dad was a public school teacher. My mom stayed at home. And, we grew up in a house with one bathroom for all 6 of us, and one TV, no cable. And so,
Ooh, somebody's got to hold the antenna too.
yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, they did. Yeah. And
I
you know
was the
how
antenna holder.
yeah,
I was the youngest.
you got it. You
I was
got
like,
it.
please let me watch Different Strokes, Silver Spoon, something.
No. I know. Oh my gosh. The grandparents' home was so fun because they had cable. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there were this many channels.
Disneyland.
Yeah, it was. It was. Um, yeah, so I think that, growing up in a house that just we were able to have time to be creative and you know, yeah, just come up with fun, different things and use our imaginations. I think that was the biggest thing, is to be able to have an environment where you're not only encouraged to have an imagination, but it just kind of became a necessity for your entertainment. And I think that that really helped.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm behind that 1000%.
Yeah.
No,
Were
when you,
you the same way, Jared, or?
The exact same way. We were a single mother raised us, and she worked 3
Mhm.
jobs. If we weren't out helping on one of the jobs, we were home. We had to kind of fend for ourselves. Oldest brother was kind of a yahoo, but he kind of got it together. But it taught me and my other brother what to do and what not to do. And
Mhm.
well, we didn't want to cause our mother any more grief, so we tried to be as good as possible. But the whole
Right.
cooking for everybody, taking care of it really, lack of money and people having to go through that kind of thing, it really kind of makes the bond stronger in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And like you're saying, creativity, it's all we had, really. But
Yeah.
you had the best time. We'd go out and get lost all day long, and it was the best.
Yes, so true. I remember when we first moved into like a new home, like we were moving from our one bathroom house, which I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have 2 bathrooms. This is amazing. This is incredible. And I just,
Oh, these
yeah,
toilets are ginormous. No,
I
just
know,
kidding.
it's so true. It is so true. And I just remember asking my parents, because we lived like right behind our house was just these woods, that we would just go and play and set up forts and all kinds of stuff. And I remember us all going, please, I mean, this was even when I was older, but I was like, please let us have a good backyard so that we can go out and play. And, so it's real special.
Man, if you had a creek, oh, and some honeysuckle bushes,
Oh,
forget about it.
yes. Oh, honeysuckle, they're the best. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
so
my
good.
backyard's loaded with them.
Oh, you're so lucky. They're so,
They're invasive, but yes, they're. I'm always like chopping them back, like, ah, you're trying to take over the
right,
whole house. But yeah,
right.
they're awesome. The animals like them anyway.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah. So, did you go to like public schools or private schools or homeschools or
Yeah, a little bit of both outside of private school. So both of my parents are teachers. My dad's a PE teacher. My mom was
right?
a second grade teacher.
Hmm.
And so she actually homeschooled me for kindergarten. And then I went to first grade where my dad taught all the way through fifth grade. And I will say that, and this actually leads up to what I do right now, is that her homeschooling me in kindergarten was one of the best things ever in my entire life, because she first of all, she's so good with kids that age, and she loves to read, and she taught me how to read really, really well. So when I went into school, I was just ahead of everyone as far as reading goes. And honestly, to this day, every time I do a voiceover job, I think, I'm just like, wow, I'm so grateful for my mom, because she really did teach me how to read really well. And I know that voiceover is not just reading, but you have to be able to at least read, smoothly and effortlessly. And if she hadn't taught me that, you know, it, I may not be here where I am today. So yeah, so that was a really special time. And then she homeschooled me through middle school, and that was not a good time. Was not super happy about that. But then I went back to public school in high school. So
I
then
see.
I was happy.
And were you like in the creative, like were you in drama or any kind of creative thing in school?
So growing up, I always, like even in our elementary school, we actually had like a drama department. So I was always doing stuff with in that. And then when I was homeschooled in middle school, I just do stuff through our church. Um, and then in high school, I went to go like try out to kind of be part of the theater program. And I felt so like not a part. Like I just remember going, I don't feel a part of, I don't know. And it's so weird. It's in high school, nowadays I feel like I would have more maturity, but I probably was just like, I don't get you guys' jokes. Like I
Right.
don't,
High school is
obviously I'm not.
super clicky. Yeah.
It's
So,
so
yeah.
weird. So I just was like, okay, I don't think this is like my kind of thing. But I did sing all the way through high school, and took singing lessons, um and then I just really kind of thought, oh, maybe I'm just not going to be doing like drama or acting or anything like that. And it wasn't until college I minored in music, um, and then I was part of the theater department there and did a bunch of musicals and was Cinderella, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Love Cinderella.
Yeah,
We
it
got to
was
do
so.
Beauty and the Beast. That was our big one.
Oh, that's awesome. It really was magical because they brought all the elementary schools in to watch the performances.
Children's production was
Oh
always the
my
one you wanted to be a part
gosh.
of. This little boy
Yes.
handed me a rose and I cried
Yes.
like a big jam. He's like,
Oh.
"You were my favorite." I was like, "You just stop it. Stop it. I'm
It
cutting onions."
it's magical, isn't it, Jared? It is so cool. Like it's just the best. So many girls came in dressed in their Cinderella costumes, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing."
That's awesome. Did you have things that inspired you growing up? Shows or people or events or anything that sticks out?
I know, that is a great question. Um, you know, it's I do think that yes, but I don't know if I could point to like one specific thing. I think the thing that inspired me most, if I could look back even just on that time period from like when I was even in kindergarten all the way up through college, it was being able to create things or create a world with just what you have and the limited resources that you have, because there were so many things that I love to do. I love to like decorate my room, but I had no money, and so I would just come up with things like just based on what I could find or what I had, um,
Your
and even
husband's real handy, right? Your husband, I see him doing all kinds of things on and putting videos. Hey, look what I'm doing today, and he's
oh,
always doing things like that.
Mike, he totally is. And I feel so bad for him because I've put him through so many things. I'll never forget, I made this like for a while, I was doing this party blog on the side. And so somebody had me do a whole baby shower. So I created this like pergola thing. And then I realized, wait, I need to go take this pergola to the event.
How are you
How am
going
I
to get it
supposed to
there?
do that? So Mike tied it to our SUV, and like, oh my gosh, I've never been so scared on an interstate before in my entire life. Um, but yes, he is really, he's very handy and wonderful, and I feel bad for him. I've tried to not put him through the ringer too much with my creative ideas. Like, here's what
Good
I have
job,
an
Mike.
idea for. Yeah. Come on,
My
help
wife
me.
is the same thing. I've got 30 years in construction, and she's like, if I can think it, he can build it. She's like, she'll talk to people. She's like, oh, when we remodel our house, you have no, it's going to be this. I'm sitting there going,
Oh my gosh.
when did we're going to put dental mold up? Why would we do, 4-piece crown in the
Mhm.
bathroom?
Yeah,
Great. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Do you have a look, Jared, that you give your wife when she says that? Because Mike has a look, and I know. Oh,
Mine's this. But why? This
Mike's,
one kind of works too.
yeah,
And I
Nice.
run off.
Mike's just more gives me that just stare of like, are you freaking kidding me? Heidi, this is the last time.
I pick and choose.
Yeah, yeah.
Very much
I
fun.
remember, I think VO Atlanta, probably 2 V Atlantas ago. Your husband, you guys bought like a blanket from me. It was like a 12-pound blanket,
Yes.
and he carried it around like the entire time. It was so funny. It was like
This is my
he's
snuggly,
such a
and I
good
love my
guy.
snuggly.
He's got to carry this blanket around the whole time. You guys are
They're not
schlepping it
light.
around. I was like,
They're great though, Stephen. I have to say, I mean, from that time that we met you, it's been it was just so great meeting you there and using the product, because seriously, because I mean, we use it in our home studio,
Yeah.
and we
That's
use
awesome.
it for our studio that we set up to
It's
go
all,
on vacations.
I have it
And
all everywhere. So yeah, it's great.
it's wonderful. And we recommend it to so many people. So just could not be more grateful for meeting you then and
No, it
being
was
able to use.
that's how we met. That's how I met a lot of people. So it's, I met
That's
this
kind
guy
of
over
what
here.
Steven does. He's a helper.
I met this
He's a
guy.
builder and a helper.
You've created a great product, and so many people
Well, it wasn't
are
my product, but
helpful.
it was Jeff's product. But yeah, I'm no longer with the company, but it was a good start, for me.
You're a great messenger, that's for
Well,
sure.
thank you very much.
Ooh, I got a question. So
Yeah.
I read that somebody is doing a podcast, and how much do you like that?
Oh my gosh. So, yes, I love podcasting. I started, oh my gosh, I guess it's been 3 years ago now. And I started because I was working part time, even though I was doing voiceover and we were running Atlanta Voiceover Studio. My background is in radio. And so I still love radio, and an opportunity came to work part-time at a local Atlanta radio station, B98.5. And so I was like, yes, I want to do that. And so I was doing that, but then it just got to be too much. I was like, I can't. I love this, but I can't keep doing weekends plus everything during the week. And so because I missed kind of that format, that was when I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try a podcast, and I'll do an interview style. I'll call it the Heidi Rue Show because I don't know what else to call it, and that and whatever, and it'll be fun. And it was great. And I did that long form interview type show for a couple years. And then it also became a lot to handle, and I didn't want to, you guys know, it's a podcasting, it takes a lot of work, and then trying to schedule guests and do the research and everything on it. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of time
I don't
and
know what
work.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Steven knows more so than I do. He's a producer extraordinaire.
Yeah, man, it's a lot. So last year I thought, you know what, I don't want to just not do podcasting because I love it. But maybe there's a way that I can do a shorter form. So that's when I came up with the Encourage Minute podcast, because I love to encourage people, and that's what we do at Atlanta Voiceover Studio anyways. And I love to find these stories that are real life stories of people that have done extraordinary things out of maybe ordinary circumstances or really bad circumstances. And so I thought, maybe if I just share these stories, what if I do that? So it's a very short form. I mean, most of the time the podcast lasts less than 5 minutes. But I just share a story that is encouraging and hopefully helps people to have a better day and week. And it's been great.
Sounds like an awesome version of a show I already listened to. You have
Yeah.
Mike Rose where he does his.
Yes.
Yes, I'm hearing that as Heidi Rue. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yes. I love his podcast. His podcast is great. In fact, his storytelling really has inspired a lot of the Encourage Minutes as far as
Phenomenal.
how he sets it up and everything. So
He's
yeah,
so
he's
good.
great.
I don't listen
Very-
to Michael. I don't listen to Ro, but I do listen to your podcast.
Oh, thanks, Steven.
To be honest.
That's so sweet.
I haven't had a chance to, but I'm going to.
As you
They're really
should,
short.
as
I
everybody should.
love podcasts. I have one on
Yeah.
all the
Do
time.
you want to share where people can find this podcast?
Yeah, you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, Google Play, just about anywhere you can listen to podcasts you can find. And just look up Encouragement. It's not the Encouragement, it's Encouragement, just because, especially in the iTunes, the library comes up in alphabetical order. So I'm like, let's get rid of just have Encouragement. So
That was a smart move.
Encouragement. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, could have been like AAA encouragement. Put your
Yeah,
foot
right. A encouragement. An encouragement. Oh well, I guess
I
I
don't
missed
know.
out on the opportunity.
That's for
Welcome to
marketing people.
A Voiceover.
Right.
That's hilarious. A little off the wall question.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be, Miss Heidi?
Oh.
A little devilish laughter. I like that.
My
You
superpower.
know her husband's in trouble.
I know.
He is. If he heard this, he would be like, "No,
Mike's
I'm not
sweating watching this
you.
podcast
I'm
right
not doing it. Not doing it." But my superpower would be able to never have to sleep.
Wow.
now. Not enough hours in the day, huh, Heidi?
Not enough hours in the day. And if I could just not have to worry about sleeping, I could get so much accomplished.
What about naps? What like a nap?
Power naps.
Naps
Nap would be good. I love power naps are great. And I know some people can't do power naps, but I can absolutely do it in a nice 20 minutes.
I
Done.
love a power nap where you go and you sleep so hard you wake up, half your face is covered with drool,
Yes.
and you think it's next October.
Yeah, right. You're like, where
And
am
you're
I?
like, how long have I been out? 3, 4 weeks? You're like,
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Right.
And you're like, oh, fantastic.
I just lived 3 lifetimes.
Yes.
But you feel good. You're like, really?
You feel so
Let's do
good.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
That's very particular. That's very cool. I've not thought about that superpower. Never sleep.
That's because, Jared, that's a stupid superpower.
Well, I mean, I'm more like a bear. Like I would rather hibernate or something. Like, let me get 6 plates of fish, and and I'm gonna go to sleep for 6 months.
Oh my gosh, exactly. And I this shows how opposite my husband and I are, because like literally that would probably be his, is like if I could just sleep and chill out for a while, like without anybody, with the world stopping or something, then that would be amazing.
Just take one of your closets and fill it up with down comforters like a cave and be like, go to your happy
Yes.
place.
Yeah. His man cave is like literally almost a cave. It's like the basement. It's totally pitch dark, and he
Awesome.
loves that place. So
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I like it.
oh my gosh.
I like my man cave too.
Okay, so
I can't
going
sleep.
on with the craziness and everything else and being a Southern girl, what's your comfort food and drink?
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like I could not be a Georgia girl if I don't say sweet tea.
Brown
I
Kool-Aid.
do-
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
You don't say
I love some
barbecues.
sweet tea. But as I've gotten older, I will say I do like a half and half tea. So like I'll do a half sweet, half like a mixture. So it's not as much sugar, but still my Southern drink. And I
Nice.
love that. Yes. And then as far as food, okay, I'm going to say this just because, and I'm not sure when this will air, but we just we just celebrated Thanksgiving, and so that's why this makes me think of this. But my mom's sweet potato casserole, so I
Ooh.
made it this year for myself, just a little bit, like not so much sugar, more like less refined sugar, but the sweet potato casserole, and not with the marshmallows. I'm sorry, you guys that love the marshmallows,
No,
but
I don't need the marshmallows.
I am not into that at all. I'm like, that goes in hot chocolate or s'mores. But the pecans, or I do walnuts on top,
yeah.
and like, oh my gosh, it is just, I literally
Now
can
you're
eat
talking
just
my
that for
language.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, so good. And of course, butter.
Fantastico.
Southern
Butter. I knew a person that would eat pecan pie with a slab of butter on top, like heated butter. I'm like, I think you want to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I know ridiculous. I'm pushing 3 bills. I know about some food and calories, buddy. And what you're doing is not good. That's like going to the vortex and trying to
Yeah.
have the cardiac burger. Like the buns are cheese, like grilled cheeses. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what's wrong with
The
you guys?
buns.
Yeah. Sounds like
Oh
he's
no, Steven, it's bad.
yeah. Sounds like it's a Tommy Boy diet.
Right.
Everyone
I
deserves
just had a
hat.
salad for lunch, so I can't relate whatsoever.
Is that all you is a salad?
Yeah, for lunch, yeah, that's all I had.
Nice. That's what I had. I love salads.
I do.
I love them. People
I'm
think
still
I'm
picking it
crazy.
out of my teeth. It's terrible.
Oh, that is the bad part about salads. Yeah.
Takes
There's
forever to
this kale
eat.
soup. It's so easy.
Terrible.
Chicken broth, kale chopped with spicy Italian sausage, potatoes and onions diced with a little bit of heavy whipping cream, and you put it in a crock pot all day. It's so good.
Ooh,
That sounds like
really
Hungarian
good.
or something crazy.
It can be whatever it wants to be. It's good.
Isn't that weird?
So I'm going to ask probably not, everybody's favorite question, but here we kind of like to be personal and we don't like to ask all the
Yeah,
sunshine questions all the time.
love
If
that.
you would be so gracious as to tell me about a time that you completely fell on your face or the wind was taken out of your sails and you had to pick yourself back up. And because I think those kind of stories are the most encouraging. So, and you
Yeah,
like to encourage. So
I do like to
Take
encourage.
it away.
Let's see. I mean, would you like personal or work
that is
or
completely up to you.
because I've got it. I've got them all.
I'm sure you do. Pick
I've got them all.
pick a goodie.
Let's see. Um, okay, let me
It's like that one time she fought Bob Barker in the pit of death. That was crazy.
yeah.
But we're not
Not
gonna talk
that one.
about
Not that one.
Not
Not
that one.
that one. Let's
Everybody's
see.
heard that one.
I think one of the biggest kind of fall on my face type things. And I will say that it just kind of all there was a lot that was happening all at once. But I'm sure a lot of people can relate. But my whole goal, even going out of college, was to go into radio and have a morning show. That was kind of my goal. And so I was working at a radio station in Atlanta and I was doing like a split shift. So I was doing traffic in the morning and afternoons. And I had both of the shows, the morning and the afternoon show, were really utilizing me a lot, which was great. And I was so grateful, and it just kept going. It just kept continuing with my career. And then we had a change in management, and then all of a sudden everything changed, which happens to a lot of people. Things just change, and all of a sudden you're going on this one kind of path, um, and it was really hard. And there were a lot of changes there, and there was a new person that came in the afternoon show, and she just was not, she didn't like me, and I was trying everything I could to, bridge the gap there. Anyways, I was just miserable, and the new boss literally just took away all the creativity. And we were just talking about before, I'm like, that man, that's just a lifeblood to me, is the creativity. And so at that time, Mike and I, my husband, were working at the radio station together, and I had offers from other stations in other cities. But at that time, Mike and I had just gotten married, and to be able to find a position at the same, at a radio station in the same city, it's just going to be really, really tough. And so he just saw how miserable I was and said, "Why don't you quit?" And for a while, I resisted it. And then I just was like, I don't know what else to do. I feel like I'm kind of suffocating here. And I know I can't keep going on like this. So for right now, yeah, that's the only option. And I was already doing voiceover on the side. But even up until that point, I just started booking more from my Atlanta agent. But so that was like 5 years or so into my kind of voiceover career on the side. And for 4 of those years, I didn't book a thing through my Atlanta agent. So I was auditioning, and I was doing it on the side, but I wasn't booking anything. So when Mike said to quit, I'm like, okay, well, I think I can do it. I mean, I'm doing better now through voiceover and on camera stuff on the side. And I quit. And I was so excited, but then it's so weird because you have this radio station where it has a built-in platform where everyone's telling you, "You did so good, and I heard you talk about so and so." And then all of a sudden, all that just kind of dries up. And it was really hard. And then I was fully immersed into this industry where you don't get feedback, where everyone's asking you, "Well, are you going to get a job? Are you going to?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to." Or like, "Oh, great,
Do
you're
you
doing
even
voiceover."
work?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. My poor mother-in-law was very, very concerned for a long time. you but that was so hard, and that was such a low point, because then I felt like, wait a minute, this stinks. it just felt like everything that I was moving towards, something was just walls were coming up. And I'm sure that so many people can relate to that. But what I can tell you is that fast forward now to almost 8 years after that has happened. And I tell you what, like I couldn't make the kind of money that I do working in radio now. I couldn't be able to do all the wonderful things that we're able to do if I was still working in radio. And it has been hard, but it has been so great. And, you know, you can always look back and things and say, man, I'm glad that that happened. When you're in the middle of it, it's so much harder. But I hope if anybody's listening and they're in that position, and COVID's been so hard, I think, for so many people, and I'm sure a lot of people are in that same boat of going, I don't even know where to go next. Everything's uncertain. And I was in that position for sure, 8 years ago. Had no idea where I was going to go or if I was even going to be a success.
I'm glad you didn't stick around and let your fire go out, because that's super important. Well, I mean, as a creative, you probably all know that if you don't self-manage a little bit, and it just becomes this smoldering smokestack, and where that fire you need on a day-to-day basis, you can't lose that, because it's so hard sometimes to reignite that and get that passion back. So
Hmm.
kudos to you.
So true. Well, thanks.
Well, a lot of people forget that, doing voiceover and all that is a business, and we all have to run it like a business, and
Hmm.
you got to spend time on it, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but in the end, it's supposed to pay off.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I'm like, yeah, it's so funny. We always tell people everybody's journey, in voiceover is so different. And I'm sure that probably is the case in a lot of creative industries, right? It's not
What
like
we've
a lot
heard.
of yeah, that have the next step
All
and
these
here, you do this.
successful
And
people.
so it's
It's
really
nice to
hard.
know that everyone's human, and that's what I like about doing the show, is that we really kind of get down to just letting people talk about them and their experiences. And I think it's more beneficial than having somebody teach you a class for 30, 45 minutes of just stuff I may not want to hear about. I can take notes, man. I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to connect. I want to, you know, to whatever you're listening to. And this is a great format, and it's a great media, and just it's a pleasure doing it, really.
Yeah. It
I
is.
like it. I like it a lot.
It is. It's so cool. You learn so much from just being able to interview people, right? I mean, like I
I'm a
feel like,
hands-on in the now learner, so I love this.
yeah,
I'm like, ooh, a squirrel.
yeah. Do you feel like both of you guys, after interviewing other people, do you feel like even just in your own life when you're with like family or friends? I mean, I know we're not really with people very much or a limited number of people during COVID, but do you feel like you have started to ask different types of questions just based on like interviewing other people through the podcast?
Oh yeah, just the other day I looked at my son, I was like, who is your daddy and what does he do? And he was like, what?
What? Yeah.
It's like, Dad, you have to
What
stop doing the
superhero?
show, okay? Stop.
It's gotten me to ask all kinds of questions, because I find myself wanting to know more and more and more. And sometimes
Mhm.
people are like, I'm thinking to myself, man, that's a ridiculous question. And then when I ask it, they're like, that's an awesome question. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not the only
Yeah.
crazy person. I love
And
that.
what's funny is we started like writing down the questions. Initially
Mhm.
we're like writing all these questions. Oh, you have questions? Yeah, I got questions. Yeah, what's your question? I'm not telling you my question. And then it just got to the point where we don't want to. What do you write questions down for? Because they change depending on what
Yeah.
you're going to say. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to ask. Just like
So
right now, I'm going
true.
to ask you something I don't even know what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you. So you're at a radio station now. Where are you at now?
So I'm not at a radio station now.
Okay.
So
What are you doing
I,
now?
so right now it is full-time voiceover,
Okay.
and then running Atlanta Voiceover Studio.
With
And
your
that
husband.
takes up, yes. And then I do the podcast, and I do some on-camera stuff as well. That's kind of like the last priority, but I do that as well. So, and that keeps us really, really busy. So
So
That's
what's your main
awesome.
what's your main goal at at their voiceover studio? What do you guys do? What's your main kind of
Yeah.
direction?
So our main goal, I mean, the thing that we do mostly is training. So we have workshops, classes, private coaching, we do demos, and then we have a full-time engineer on staff. So we do some recordings, like we do a lot for like, we've done recently a couple shows for Food Network, and we do several things for like the Investigation Discovery Channel for some of their shows that are filmed here. Um, yeah, and then we had the recent cold spots that are running were recorded here, and
Very cool. My wife
so
loved Kohl's.
yeah.
I got Kohl's cash. I gotta go spend it right
Oh
now.
my gosh, yes, Cole's Cash. Jeez.
She came home one time. I said, "You can only get a new Keurig if you can find it on sale." She's like, "I got it for $65." I was like, "You're a liar." And she's like, "Kohl's Cash today was 65 off. If you had a special name B and you had the 47Q code from the XR and you flew flight 311." Okay, you do you, boo boo. Thank you.
Right.
Bargain
She's
hunting.
fantastic and stuff like
Awesome.
that.
$65 for a Keurig too. That's great. Way to go. I need to go shopping with your wife.
Dude,
Get
she
ready.
got me one of those little giant ladders, like the real
Okay.
ones. She got it for $99. It was a $400 ladder. She just waits
Wow.
and she like swoops in like one of those. I don't want to say bald eagle, a long flowing hair eagle that's beautiful,
Yeah, we're the bald eagles.
right?
Oh my
Bald
gosh.
She
eagles.
snatches
So
bargains like the people do out of the lake.
right, right, right. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so was there like a certain a person that inspired you to
To open up the studio, or
yeah.
so no, it was we did not really
Great
mean to
answer.
do this.
We woke up on a Wednesday and we're like, "What do you want to do today, brain?"
No, it is so crazy.
Rule the
You know,
world.
I don't know if you guys have ever like had this happen in your career, but it's like so funny because there's so many times where you work really, really hard on something and you're just like, I think this is a great idea. I think this is, this is needed. And, you work so hard and it just kind of like doesn't go anywhere. And you're like, gosh, put all that energy and everything into it and nothing happened. This studio has been the opposite. It's like, wait, what? Where are we going? What? Oh, okay. Like, so we have a home studio, and we did all our work from there before. And I was telling Mike, this was like over 4 years ago, and I was like, man, I really miss seeing people. I wish I could just see people more on a daily basis. COVID obviously is not good for me. And so and so a friend of ours was opening up a soundstage studio and had some offices. And so Mike said, hey, listen, why don't we rent one of the offices, like 100 square foot space, and we'll build out a studio. And then that way our friends that are on camera actors that don't have a home studio set up, they don't ever have to miss out on voiceover auditions. They can come and record there. We'll charge us a little bit of money and hopefully that'll pay for our rent. And then that way we can have an outside studio and you can see people. And then I won't have to hear you complain about it.
He's a fixer.
Yes, he's a fixer, that man. And so that's how it all kind of started. And then when we opened it up, people were asking us, oh, do you do demos? Do you do workshops? Do you do classes? And we're like, no, we don't.
Hold on there, cowboy.
We don't, no. And so we started trying to refer them to other places in Atlanta. And one place that had been in Atlanta for a while had just shut down. And there just wasn't a lot of good options here in Atlanta. And so we realized, oh my gosh, maybe we should. And at that point, Brian Bremer, who's a friend and colleague of ours, had said, hey, I'm already doing this intro to voiceover workshop. I don't know if you guys would even be interested in it. And we were like, yeah, actually, people are asking for this. And so then we moved across the hallway to like a 400 square foot space and started offering more and more things slowly. And then we moved a year and a half ago to a 3,200 square foot space and have a full-time engineer now and a couple employees. And we've got, like close to 20 instructors. And we have Atlanta Voiceover Studio, which now you can take any of our classes or workshops online as well, virtually. You can join them virtually, thanks to COVID. And And then we also have provoiceovertraining.com as well. So those are pre-done classes. And so if you don't have a lot of time and you work weird hours, you can always go ahead and take the intro to voiceover workshop or whatever, just online, the video in your own time.
That's awesome.
So, yes.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And it just keeps
That
on.
sounds like a whole menu of yummy.
I love it.
my
Yeah, because you keep
gosh.
adding, different offerings and things. It's really great.
It's just kind of taken a mind of its own. But what I will say to anyone that's listening, this will be an encouragement, is that it's funny because, like I said, there's so many times where you try things and it doesn't work. Like I had a blog for 6 years, just did not really go very far. There were just so many things that I did.
People don't like to read anymore.
I know, it's
They
crazy.
don't.
Yeah,
They
right?
don't.
I think that was because they did not learn very good up there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the problem in this country. They all fell out in the brains department.
I know. And my blog was called Parties for Pennies. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But what's really cool though, is because so many of the things that I learned doing that and other things actually helped us in the studio. So like, because I had an email newsletter and because I knew how to do websites and stuff like that, I created our first website for Atlanta Voiceover Studio. We started an email newsletter immediately as soon as we opened up. And so all of that stuff, it just I had to learn a ton more to begin. And it just really helped set us up for success in this endeavor. So if you're listening and you're like, gosh, I'm failing at all these things are not taking off, just know that what you're learning through those processes could actually help with that one thing that just takes off. So.
And where can people find this well of positivity?
of me
Yes.
or encouragement.
Well, the Atlanta voiceover studio, all that.
Mm-hmm. So Atlanta Voiceover Studio, you can go visit us at atlantavoiceoverstudio.com. We are on all social media, even TikTok, and it's pretty much Atlanta Voiceover Studio, just at Atlanta Voiceover Studio, except for Twitter. It's ATLVO Studio. And then we actually have an Atlanta Voiceover Studio podcast as well, where we talk to different people in the voiceover industry. And we have, and then provoiceovertraining.com, you can find out, you can just go to provoiceovertraining.com. So that's that. And then I'm just Heidi Rue across the board. I'm so lucky that I was born with the last name Rue, because there's just not a lot of Heidi Rue. So I didn't have to worry about websites being taken or emails being taken or social media or anything. So
That's true.
Yeah, Heidi Rue across the board. You can find me there. And that's REW, like ew.
Heidi,
Yeah,
That
Heidi
doesn't sound
Rue.
right. No, it's all popping up on the screen, so there's going to be no question about where people should go.
Yeah, no question. You might find me there.
Mhm.
You never know. Atlanta. Just never know what the future might bring.
Jared,
Then I can do handyman jobs with her husband. We could do stuff at the house, and he'd be like, "You come to help?" I'll be like, "I'll wear my little halo and angel wings."
Yeah.
Cute.
Jared
and then I'll be like,
really
Jared, your wife and me, we're going shopping.
Oh, dude, you would love it. She's got plans and SWAT gear,
a bargain finder, right?
Tear gas, stun guns. She's really good.
She makes sure to get the deals.
Oh my
or
gosh.
else.
She almost killed me one year because I'm just so in the moment. This lady was looking at Hot Wheels, and we stood in the line forever for the Black Friday deals or whatever it was this year. And I reached down and I grabbed one of the big Power Wheels that was on sale, and I handed it to the lady. And by the time I reached back up there, they were all gone. And my wife was like, "You just gave away what we were looking for." Luckily, the lady that was in line, she was like, "I actually have one that's like a year old." And she goes, "Your husband's so sweet and kind of dumb. So if you just come to and pick it up from my house." And we went, and it was a huge 4-seater, more than we ever bargained for nothing.
Oh.
So sometimes it just works out.
It works out.
Yeah.
See, nice guys do finish first.
Sometimes.
like the tortoise
Most
in the air.
times, though.
Right.
I said tortoise. I think it's a tortoise, though.
Yeah, it's okay.
Tortoise might be
Tortoise.
closer. Wow. Well, no more questions. Miss
Okay.
Heidi, thank you so much for being on here today. I've learned a lot,
Yeah.
and it's just been really special for me.
Well,
Me
thank
too.
you
Enjoyed it.
guys. Thank
And I
you.
will be in touch soon.
Please do. I know.
Yes.
And once this COVID hit gets gone or whatever, Jared, we'd love to see you like face to face.
Yes, I'll make special sandwiches. I call them Georgia
Oh,
boys.
okay.
I make a
Ooh.
pan of flathead biscuits, and I
Mhm.
cut them open and use the insides to like a grilled cheese. And I put a thin layer of peanut butter, thick cut smoked bacon, cheddar cheese, peach preserves, and do it like a grilled cheese.
Whoa, my mind is blown
Wow,
right
you
now.
just-
I
I was
can't
gonna
even
say.
imagine all this flavor.
I've had people show up at my house with the bags full of groceries, like, "Will you make them?"
Oh my gosh, that's
Pretty awesome.
crazy.
So I look forward to it.
Sounds great.
Well, guys, that's another episode of VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers, along with
Stephen Coghill.
Miss Ruth. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.